Welcome to Module 2. Our subject is food processing and regulations. Upon completion of this module, you will be able to have an understanding of food safety systems, the rules and regulations governing food processing, packaging and environmental regulations, occupational health and safety, facilities and equipment, and finally, risk management. One outbreak of foodborne illness can cost a food operation thousands of dollars in legal fees, medical claims, lost wages, discarded foods, bad publicity, and lost revenue. Proper food handling can ensure food safety. Safe food practices are very important to your business. In this section of the course, you will download and watch a video where you will learn the importance of a food safety system. At the end of this module, you will find the link to the Environmental Health website, and there you can search to find the office closest to your place of business. Now that you have a better understanding of the importance of a food safety system, we will now talk about the rules and regulations governing food processing. The SSFPA has excellent resource materials on their website to research your own processing needs and requirements. Logging on to the Food Safety Portal will allow you to access the SSFPA's regulatory roadmap. You simply enter what product you make, where it is sold, and where it is made, and you will get a list of federal and provincial acts and regulations for your product. Although you can look further into your own processing needs, we will take a few moments to discuss the differences in the food safety workshops that are currently available for you to take. We will explain the differences with Food Safe, Market Safe, and ABC HACCP workshops. The Food Safe training program teaches safe food handling methods and food preparation techniques to workers, supervisors, and operators in the food service industry, and that is restaurants, commissaries, catering, and farmers markets. Our next course definition is Market Safe. The Market Safe program is designed to increase awareness and knowledge of food safety and safe food handling procedures for farmers market vendors, market managers, farm gate vendors, home kitchen small-scale food processors, and others who make, bake, or produce food products for public consumption outside regulated food service establishments. Our third and final course definition is the ABC HACCP workshop. The workshop teaches food safety planning and record keeping using good manufacturing practices and hazard analysis critical control point systems to managers, owners, and workers in wholesale food manufacturing. As a processor, you must make sure that you are using the packaging that will be the most suitable for your product. Packaging is critical to the success of your business. There are three major points to consider when determining your packaging choice: protecting the product, marketing the product, and the environmental regulations surrounding the type of packaging you use. It is best to start considering your packaging while you are developing your product. Too often, food processors focus on the marketing appeal of their package and develop it in isolation from the product it is intended to contain. You need to know that your product and your package are a good fit. When selecting packaging, you need to consider food packaging intentions. Could your package leach a key flavor? Packaging must be non-toxic and compatible with the specific food. The barrier properties of the packaging, like gas, odor, light, moisture, and fat protection. The impact of the packaging on flavor and texture. Does your product require a tamper-resistant feature? The effect of the packaging on shelf life. Is shelf life reduced because of oxygen exposure? Is the package easy to open, pour, and reseal? Is the packaging flexible? Is the package durable? How to protect the package during transport so the food will survive and reach your customer? Is it resistant to impact? Does your package adhere to standards? For example, if your product is certified organic, you will want to ensure that your packaging meets both the organic standards and the health regulations. Is your customer looking for environmental friendliness? If so, your packaging must match what your customer wants. Finally, Consider that there are new packaging developments happening all the time, and keeping up with those innovations can impact your product's shelf life and quality and help to give you an advantage. Now that it is clear, there are many things to consider regarding packaging choices for your products. You may want to consult with food suppliers or a food scientist to determine any incompatibility between your product and the potential package before you start production. Compare alternate packages and their impact on flavor and texture, the effects of packaging on shelf life, the relationship between measured in-package degradation and perception of flavor changes. Assess the package performance during thermal processes, the packaging options for your product, the sensitivity of your food product to oxygen exposure, and the effect on shelf life. And finally, potential failure points in your packaging. In November 2012, new recycling regulations came into effect under the Environmental Management Act in the province of British Columbia. As a result, all producers must now present a product stewardship plan to the government. In summary, it is producers assuming responsibility for the collection and diversion of their products and packaging at the end of their life. Producers are responsible to provide reasonable access for BC residents to collection and recycling services. To further understand the new regulations, click on the BC Laws link and review the Act. An important component of food processing and its regulations is occupational health and safety. If your processing business has one or more employees, not including you, then you must pay WorkSafe premiums for your employees. See the attached link to the WorkSafe site to find out the applicable WorkSafe rates for your company based on your product classification. As a resource for small-scale food processors, you can review your occupational safety needs with FIOSA Miosa Safety Alliance of BC. It's a not-for-profit industry organization that seeks to address challenges and opportunities specific to food and beverage processing and manufacturing and to set industry standards for health and safety. Open the attached link for FIOSA Miosa and explore all the organization has to offer you as a food processor. We will now move on to the subject of facilities and equipment. What type of facility will work for you and your product? Many processors start by processing their product in their home kitchen, and if approved, get a temporary permit to sell their product at craft fairs or the local farmers market. Most successful businesses need to expand to an approved commercial kitchen or processing facility. In determining the best facility, you must consider: where do you plan to sell your products? Just the farmers markets or retail as well? The regulations. Will you be restricted to selling only within a given geographic area like BC? Do you know if your product must be produced in a federally inspected facility, like meat products, for example? Availability of rental facilities in your community. In some communities, it is difficult to find the appropriate facilities to make your products, and also depends on what equipment you need to produce your product. Do you have the available funds to invest in a facility? It can be very costly to invest in a facility until you are at a stage that warrants this kind of investment. What are your plans for future growth? Do you have a plan for expansion of your product if your products are successfully received by customers? There are also alternatives to opening your own facility, like shared-use commercial kitchens or co-packers that are often facilities that are federally inspected and can make your products for you. Let's talk about the various types of facilities in more detail. We will start with home kitchens. There are restrictions on the types of food that can be prepared and sold when processed in a home kitchen. Most home kitchens do not meet commercial standards. You must contact your environmental health officer for prior approval before processing and selling a food product. Home-based commercial kitchens is another alternative. Your municipality regional zoning may allow you to build a commercial kitchen on your property. The kitchen must be separate from your domestic kitchen. You must keep your family's food activities completely separate from your business. You will need to consider zoning bylaws and environmental health requirements. It is very important to work with both your municipal representative and environmental health officer to ensure the regulations are aligned to the specifics of your property. You also need to consider if suppliers can and will make deliveries to your home-based business. The next option is commercial kitchen rental. You may want to rent space in established licensed commercial facilities. This can include community hall kitchens, restaurants, bakeries, and other licensed food establishments. Ensure the kitchen is appropriate for you and your product by contacting the environmental health officer, who will know the standards of the facility. There are a number of things to consider when renting a kitchen. Availability. Is it available at convenient times for you to process? Equipment. Do they have the appropriate equipment for your product, or do you have to bring your own? Storage. Is there space for you to store your ingredients and finished product? And finally, cleaning standards. Who is responsible for cleaning, and does it meet your standards? Next is the option of a shared-use commercial kitchen. Some groups in BC have shared-use commercial kitchens where various processors can rent the kitchen to prepare their product. As with renting a commercial kitchen, you will want to consider the availability of the facility. Are the times convenient for you to process your product? If you are sharing the space with others, are your personalities compatible? Do they have the appropriate equipment, or do you need to bring your own? Do they have storage for your ingredients and finished goods? And finally, are their cleaning standards acceptable to you, and who is responsible for cleaning? Our final facility as an option for processing is co-packers. Using the excess capacity of an existing manufacturer is a cost-effective way of producing a product. Co-packers can process, package, and even distribute your food product on your behalf. This can be a good route to consider before making a major investment in facilities and equipment. It is important to note, however, that co-packers often require significant minimum orders and may also charge fees for the initial sample run of your products. Co-packing is a more likely option for products that have an emerging market and have outgrown the commercial kitchen option. To give an idea of the minimum order size, it is likely it would be not less than a 12 to 1500 liter batch, which, depending on the pack size, would be between 4 and 500 cases per product. Another important point in regards to co-packers is the option of working with a federally registered plant. Many co-packers are registered by the CFIA and are authorized to produce products that can cross both provincial as well as national borders. It can be of enormous benefit for a packer of a regulated product like dairy, meat, and canned products if you are interested in selling your products outside the province. For all of your food safety planning needs, the SSFPA offers the following PowerPoint presentations on the topic of co-packing and food safety. Food safety for co-packing. This presentation is an introduction to food safety when co-packing a food product. Dividing GMP and HACCP for co-packing. This presentation demonstrates the division of food safety roles and responsibilities between all parties involved when co-packing a food product. And finally, checklists for co-packing food safety. Checklists are included for co-packer, client, and facility evaluation, and for drafting co-packing contracts. Let's talk about food processing equipment. If you use commercial equipment to make your products, the cost can mount rapidly. Some of the equipment can really assist in saving on labor costs. However, you must do a cost-benefit analysis to ensure that the cost of the equipment pays out in a reasonable time. When selecting equipment, it's best to get advice from other processors and suppliers. Find out what other processors are using and what would they recommend. Suppliers know their products and can recommend the best equipment for your needs. You may want to check out a number of suppliers. Also, some supply stores sell used equipment, and there are also auctions selling used and from time to time new equipment at a fraction of the cost of new. These can both be good options. However, depending on the equipment, some processors feel new is better than used. Base your selection of equipment on the function it is to perform, your processing volume while allowing some room for growth, and cleaning and sanitizing considerations. Our final topic for this module is risk. Risk is the possibility of harm, injury, loss, danger, or destruction. Risk can be managed by establishing a risk management strategy, which includes the following steps. Identify the risks you are exposed to. Assess each risk in terms of the severity of the potential loss and your ability to handle that loss. Identify appropriate risk strategies. Risk avoidance, do not. Risk reduction, create safety plans or eliminate the hazard. Risk sharing or transfer, obtain insurance, rent a facility rather than own it. Risk retention, deductibles and waiting periods. Implement your risk strategy by taking some action like purchasing insurance or eliminating hazards, implementing an alarm system, smoke detector, etc. Lastly, review and update your risk management strategy on a regular basis. In the last slide, we mentioned insurance as one potential way to risk share. There are many types of insurance for your business, and many are necessary depending on the type of product you are producing and who you plan to sell your products to. The first and most important coverage is liability insurance. It offers financial protection against legal action by a customer who consumed your product. If a consumer suffers an injury or financial losses because of an unsafe product, the consumer can sue for damages. The injured consumer can potentially sue anyone in the distribution chain for damages. This would include the manufacturer and the retailer, as well as the parties in between, such as the wholesalers and distributors. If someone complains about your product or legal action is brought against your business, phone your insurance broker immediately. Even if a lawsuit against your business is not successful, you may still have huge legal fees that have to be covered. Liability insurance will cover these legal costs. The second type of insurance is cross-liability. This is important when your product is in someone else's premises or when you use someone else's kitchen or facility. You may be required to carry liability insurance before a retailer will sell your product. Commercial kitchens will likely have liability insurance of some kind. The third is business interruption insurance. It is also an important insurance to consider, particularly those who want to manufacture in their own facility. It will protect a business owner against the loss of revenue suffered due to an insured cause, for example, a fire. You must provide proof of losses through financial statements. This insurance covers the period up to 1 year between the time of the loss and the return to normal operating conditions. The fourth type of insurance are special event policies held by a master subscriber, such as a festival or market, like the farmers market. The master subscriber buys the liability insurance, and vendors pay a fee to sign on as part of the subscription. The fifth and final insurance type is indemnity clauses, which are clauses in a contract under which one party or both parties commit to compensate the other, or each other, for any harm, liability, or loss arising out of the contract. It is important to note, though, waiver forms do not protect a business from being sued. A person cannot have his or her right to sue taken away. An insurance company will want to know everything about your business before insuring it. Always state the actual and intended use of business. For example, if in 6 months you are planning to make an additional product, make this known. Remember, an insurance company can refuse to honor its coverage against a claim if the client has not been truthful in providing information about their business. Assess your risks and determine how great they are. Look into specific coverage. For example, you can buy insurance for lost product, loss of a supplier, or market protection.